This is NTA News 24. Hello, Eid Mubarak. I am Musbad and Wahab on the news at 10. Let's see the headlines. President Buhari worships with kinsmen in Daura and walks back home amidst waving of hands and cheering voices. Bleating and slaughtering of ram resonates across the country as Muslims worship worldwide commemorate Eid Kabir. National Youth Service Corps gets presidential endorsement as Nigeria's first citizen speaks out about the scheme's enormous potential.
I feel very strongly about NYSC, and I always wish you the best of luck. And I thank you for your service to the country.
Thanks a lot for tuning in to the network service of the NTA. And I will begin from Dara, where President Muhammad Buhari joined his kinsmen to observe a two-rakat congregational prayer of thanksgiving at Kofa Arewa Eid Ground in Katsina State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo report that the president also walked back home amidst a waving of hands and cheering voices.
Allah is indeed the greatest. Imam Safiyanu Yusuf Dansawai kept emphasizing as he led the two-rakat prayer of thanksgiving for his enormous blessings to humanity. In a khutbah shortly after, the Imam admonished the Ummah to remain prayerful, thankful, and indeed much more submissive to the Creator, no matter the circumstances. Their trust in the Almighty Allah, Imam Yusuf Dansawai insists, must never be compromised, while the virtues of sacrifice, obedience, justice, tolerance, love for one another, and care for those in need be kept alive. He also made a case for the faithful to be peaceful, purposeful, and supportive of the genuine efforts by the Buhari administration at effectively securing and stabilizing Nigeria for a prosperous future. Special prayers were offered for the nation and its leaders. The Emir of Daura, Umar Farooq Umar, assured the president of continued prayers and support of the people as he sustains genuine efforts at bequeathing a better future for all Nigerians. Before leaving the Eid ground, President Muhammadu Buhari performed the symbolic ram slaughtering in line with the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. This is the first time since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic President Muhammadu Buhari is celebrating the Feast of Sacrifice in the ancient town of Daura, his ancestral home. It was therefore a reunion of some sort as members of the community line up the major streets of Daura in their numbers to catch a glimpse, appreciate, and proudly associate with a Nigerian leader in whom they are well pleased. Speaking to newsmen shortly after, President Muhammadu Buhari said he is not unmindful of the desire of Nigerians for sustainable peace and security. Government, he said, will not relent until such genuine concerns are addressed, but made a case for their support through intelligence sharing.
What every Nigerian needs is peace now, so that they can go back to their farms, they can go around peacefully. To those that are distracting the attention of governments at all levels, local, state, and federal. They live among them, they know them, let them expose them so that we can have peace in the country.
The Eid al-Kabir celebration continues. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And now the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC scheme, has won a presidential endorsement. Nigeria's first citizen, President Muhammadu Buhari, has expressed a deep attachment to the scheme and has told its many potential, describing the scheme as a spectacular initiative critical for national unity and stability. Here again, a State House correspondent, Adamu Sambo, with the details.
The Youth Corps members in their numbers converged on the private residence of the Nigerian leader to demonstrate their solidarity and support, as well as wish him a successful and memorable Salah celebration. Indeed, it was a joyous moment of history for them as the president came out to show appreciation. The co-liaison officer, Umar Babayo, who spoke on their behalf, appreciated President Buhari for his sincerity of purpose and commitment towards addressing Nigeria's fundamental challenges for posterity.
The NYSC members recognize the economic and infrastructural development which the federal government has embarked upon to ensure the realization of economic diversification, especially in agriculture. We also use this opportunity to appreciate the effort of the federal government as it relates to the NYSC scheme.
President Muhammadu Buhari formally welcomed the core members to Daura and indeed to his residence, asking them to not only renew their allegiance to Nigeria, but keep faith with the ideals of the NYSC scheme, which he described as well thought out.
I feel very strongly about NYSC, and I always wish you the best of luck. And I thank you for your service to the country. I assure you that we are much better off as Nigerians, and rather than fall out in line with ethnic or religious differences.
And in the spirit of the season, President Muhammadu Buhari donated 2 bulls, 20 bags of rice, and 1 million naira to the core members. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And away from Daura, indications from correspondent reports across the states indicate that it's been a relatively peaceful Eid celebrations. From the National Mosque, Abuja, where hundreds of Muslim faithful gathered for the Eid al-Kabir prayer, the khutbah dwelt on lessons of patience, sacrifice and obedience to Allah. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu reports.
It was an Eid celebration with a peculiarity, as worshippers were admitted into the prayer ground under strict adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols. Detachment of security operatives were also on ground to duly screen individuals to prevent breach of peace. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Musa Bello, and former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Babangida Ngorje, were amongst the earliest callers to the Eid ground. Arrival of the Imam, Dr. Muhammad Kabir Adam, signaled the commencement of the prayer. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah. His khutbah was emphatic on the lessons inherent in the celebration, with a charge on the Muslim faithful to look beyond the merriments and embody sacrifice, obedience, virtues of love and patience, as exemplified by the prophets Ibrahim and Ismail.
Unity is power. So I call on Nigerians to remain united, regardless of their religious background, ethnicity, or geographical location. We are all one Nigerians.
Minister of the FCT, Muhammad Musa Bello, amongst other worshippers, advised residents to celebrate and commit health workers and security operatives to Allah in prayers for their sacrifice for nationhood.
FCT is a creation of law, is the center of our unity in Nigeria. So let everybody be united under one flag, one nation, one constitution. And FCT represents that.
I've learned a lesson of being tolerant and obedient and submissive to the will of Allah. And I have learned a lesson that anything you want to do, you put God first before any other thing.
Special prayers were offered for the peace of the nation and the leaders to be just in the discharge of the state affairs. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
And in the spirit of Eid al-Kabir, First Lady of Nigeria Aisha Muhammadu Buhari has urged all Nigerians, especially mothers, to be more committed in prayers for peace, unity and development of the country. The First Lady stated this when she received wife of the Vice President Dolapo Osinbajo and wives of the service chiefs and other Nigerian women who paid Salah homage to her as part of activities marking this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
In the spirit of Eid al-Kabir celebration, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has received the wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Osinbajo, the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, as well as the wives of the service chiefs, led by the wife of the Chief of Defense Staff and the President of the POA, Vicky Irabo, and the wife of the DGSS and other Nigerian women to share with her the celebration of Eid al-Adha. The low-key event provided the opportunity for the wives of the service chiefs to interact with the First Lady of Nigeria on the best way to continue galvanizing support in every way possible towards improving lots of women, youth and children. The First Lady used the occasion to call on Muslim faithful and other Nigerians to be more committed to the task of supporting their family and generally to the task of nation building.
The Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to witness the Eid al-Kabir celebration, a celebration of sacrifice. And as usual, we have prayed for families and Nigerian. Let us commit to prayers for peace and unity of our nation. And may the Almighty God touch the hearts of our leaders to be conscious and do the needful. And also we pray to the Almighty Allah to accept our good deeds and fill our hearts with love and peace.
I pray that Nigerians will learn to love their country, love one another, serve humanity, and pray for our leaders. Mr. President needs prayers. All those in position of authority needs prayers to be able to lead well and with the fear of God. I wish all Nigerians, especially women and children, happy Eid al-Kabir.
We wish her Baraka de Salah. We wish Nigerians Baraka de Salah. And we continue to pray for the peace and security of Nigeria.
The First Lady also called on Nigerians to imbibe the virtues of sacrifice, love, and the fear of God in building a solid foundation towards achieving a more prosperous Nigeria. From the State House, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Now, Nigerians, especially Muslim faithful, have been receiving prayers and messages of goodwill at Eid al-Kabir celebration. In our next report, compiled by Monsoor Demin, that's a President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, Speaker, House of Representatives, military, the police and major political parties are all praying for peace and unity on this occasion.
In Katsina, Dauda Mohammed reports that messages on love, tolerance and obedience dominated sermons across the states.
I appeal to leaders at various levels, and including those who are not of the Islamic faith, but all leaders, I think, should refrain and should do only those things that will promote peace and harmony in Nigeria.
Also in Asaba, Austin Idemodu reports that the chief imam of the Arcade Eid Prayer Ground Asaba urged the congregation to shun political, ethnic and religious sentiments.
I trust all the Muslims in Nigeria together to have peace and to know that Nigeria is a one entity.
Faith in Allah and sacrifice characterized the sermon by the chief imam of Ilorin. Kehinde Omolosho reports that the governor of the state was part of the congregation.
It's a time for us to look inwards and preach the same peace and unity amongst our brethren.
Godwin Inalegu in Makudi says Muslim faithful in Benue defied the morning rain to observe the Turakats.
May Allah return back peace in our country, peace in our state, peace in our homes, and peace everywhere.
I enjoin everyone to go about with the celebration without any form of violence.
In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibade reports that the Deputy Governor of the state called for national unity.
We should be patient for the government and be prayerful for all of us.
Kingsley Amajiri in Port Harcourt says messages hinged on love and faith.
The lessons we teach the people, we tell them to be peace-loving ambassadors.
And from Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo reports that sermons by clerics centered on obedience to God and constituted authority.
Whatever difficult challenges we are going through, or as a nation, these problems will go away. Nigeria will become stronger.
In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Right, that was Elizabeth Omori. This is Venice at 10 live on NTA News 24. Blading and slaughtering of ram for food, is that all there is to Eid el-Kabir? Join us again for a special on animal sacrifice.
On behalf of the management team, officers and men of the National Park Service Nigeria, I wish the entire Muslim Ummah happy Eid al-Adha Mubarak. May love, peace and unity continue to reign in our country. Remember to observe strictly all COVID-19 protocols before, during and after your celebrations. Announcer, Dr. Ibrahim M. Goni, Conservator General.
Thanks a lot for staying tuned in. As Muslims in Plateau State join other faithful across the world to mark Eid el-Kabir, Plateau State Governor Simon Bakola Long has expressed warm felicitations and admonished them to embrace the lessons of exercise and work for a better society. In a statement by Makut Simon Macham, Director of Press and Public Affairs to the Governor of Plateau State, Governor Lalong particularly described the growing spirit of tolerance and religious harmony in Plateau State as a welcome development which he said was enhancing confidence and improving the economy. He said the celebration of Eid el-Kabir presents another opportunity for the Muslim community to reach out to indigent members of the society and people of other faiths by extending the blessings of the moment. On security, the governor expressed happiness that religiously motivated insecurity has been largely tackled in Plateau State, saying, attention now is on criminality that borders on vices such as banditry, kidnapping, destruction of crops and livestock, as well as attacks on innocent citizens. Vese said the government is fighting with all its might to overcome, as it has recently procured 200 security motorcycles and 50 patrol vans to boost the capacity of security agencies to deal with crimes in all parts of the state. The governor also commended security agencies for working round the clock to secure the state before, during and after the Eid el-Kabir festivities. The slaughtering of ram is a major feature of the Eid el-Kabir festival. Now, as Muslims all over the world celebrate this very significant festival, Musa Babali in this report takes a look at the place of animal sacrifice in Eid celebration.
More than 1.8 billion Muslims around the world are in a celebration mood as they observe one of the major religious festivals, which is Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Kabir. On a day like this, Muslims not performing Hajj are expected to carry out two major activities: to observe congregational prayers in his community and slaughter a sacrificial animal. Islamic scholars identify ram, goat, cow and camel as the animals that can be used for the sacrifice.
The essence here now is to slaughter a ram for you to be conscious of God, to clean your heart, to change the way you do your things, and to be more submissive to God who has created you and give you all the opportunities you have.
Quoting from chapter 22, verses 37 of the Holy Quran, they advise Muslims to see the sacrifice as an act of worship, not a ritual of sacrificing blood.
Allah says He doesn't need the blood or the flesh of that ram. The fear of Allah in which you use in slaughtering that animal matters a lot.
To this end, the meat is to be shared into 2 portions, one to be eaten by the family, and the other portion should be given out as charity. And for those who cannot afford an animal for slaughter, they are expected to carry out other activities associated with the festival. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And away from that, Nigeria's COVID-19 death rate climbs to 2,128 as the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, announces daily tally infection increase across 10 states by 260. Latest details indicate that Lagos leads with 132, Akwa Ibom has 56, Ekiti recorded 5 new cases, while Delta State got just 3. Rivers, Enugu, Jigawa, and Katsina State recorded 2 new infections each, while Gombe and FCT have 1 new infection apiece. With this latest information, total confirmed cases now stand at 169,884. Active cases stands at 3,013, while 164,733 have been discharged, while death rate stands at 2,128. Ahead of the World Congresses of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Plateau State Governor Simon Bakola Long has called on members of the party in the state to come together and ensure a peaceful and smooth conduct that will further strengthen the party. In a statement, the Director of Press and Public Affairs, Makut Simon Macham, Governor Lalong told the key players in JOS that the World Congress elections are meant to give the party a stronger foundation for the consolidation of its successes in the states and across the country. He called on members to be transparent and conduct themselves in a manner that will build harmony, peace, and equity among members, and also make the party maintain its position as the largest party in the country. The governor also advised the members to abide by the guidelines for the conduct of the primaries and also ensure that all avenues for consensus are exhausted for the emergence of ward officials. Where such is not reached, elections should be conducted in a peaceful atmosphere and without any rancor. Also, on the occasion, Lalong urged those saddled with the task of conducting the elections to ensure that only registered members are allowed to participate in the process. On his part, acting caretaker chairman of the APC in Plateau State said the meeting is meant to prepare the members for the task ahead, which is very crucial. According to him, the party is working to ensure that all arrangements are done on time to provide for a smooth exercise. He said lessons have been learned from the recently conducted local government primaries, as aggrieved persons are being heard by the Reconciliation Committee. Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Idris Wase appealed to the stakeholders and party officials to be fair to all members of the party who are aspiring for offices during the World Congresses. Also contributing, Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly Saleh Shehu Yingmong expressed optimism that the party will come out of the process stronger because of the leadership of a governor who has been fair to all and always willing to lead by example. You've been watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24 here in Abuja. Now let's take a look at some of the top stories in the news. President Buhari joined his kinsmen in Daura to observe a 2-rakat congregational prayer of Thanksgiving at Kofa Arewa Eid Ground and walked back home amidst waving hands and cheering voices. Blazing and slaughtering of ram resonates across the country as Muslims worldwide commemorate Eid al-Kabir.
تقبل الله منا ومنكم عيد